You're listening to the Small Business Accelerator podcast, accelerating success, one founder at a time.
With your hosts, Roger Bryant and Sarah Wilson.
We support small business owners, the little guys. We're here to help you win in today's landscape.
Join us each week as we reveal powerful strategies for small business owners that save you time and money.
Because we believe every small business owner should have access to Fortune 500 style strategies without breaking the bank.
Subscribe now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts to accelerate your small business success. Ever get that sneaky feeling like everyone else is on vacation, winning awards, just, living their best lives?
Yeah.
And you're stuck at home trying to find matching socks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not alone.
Not at all.
We're diving deep into the comparison trap today, and I think it's got way more of us than we realize.
It's fascinating, right? Because this isn't just like a product of our modern world. It's like hardwired into us.
Really?
Yeah. Back in 1954, the psychologist, Leon Festinger, came up with this theory, the social comparison theory, and it explains so much about why we do this to ourselves.
Okay, 1954, that's like way back. Give us the crash course. What did this Festinger guy figure out that's still relevant today?
Okay, imagine you're back in grade school, right? You see someone with the coolest new lunchbox, and all of a sudden yours is like totally lame. Festinger realized we compare ourselves to others to figure out where we stand, our skills, opinions, even our taste in lunchboxes.
So it's not just me being weird. It's like Psychology 101. But there's got to be an upside to this, right?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes seeing someone else succeed makes you want to work harder.
Exactly. That's the thing. There's two types of comparison. Upward and downward. Upward is when we look at someone we think is like better than us.
And downward is?
Downward is when we're looking at folks we think we're doing better than.
Ah, okay.
Upward comparison, if we're using it right, can be motivating, like, hey, if they can do it, maybe I can too.
Yeah.
But both upward and downward can turn pretty nasty if we aren't careful.
So downward comparison, that's that little ego boost, right? Like, well, at least my life's not that much of a mess.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see how that gets old. And it doesn't really fix anything in my life.
Exactly. A little self-esteem boost is nice, but if we're always looking down, we might miss chances to grow ourselves.
That's true.
And trust me, nobody wins the Who's Got It Worse Olympics.
No, you're right. You're right. So our source material keeps mentioning this comparison trap. It feels like we've been circling it. But when does healthy comparison become, like, straight up toxic?
Yeah, picture a Venus flytrap, right?
Okay.
Looks innocent until S&P, you're stuck. The comparison trap is kind of like that. It lures us in with this idea of keeping up or measuring up. We start obsessing over other people's stuff, achievements, possessions, lifestyles, but we often do it at the expense of our own well-being. And that's the kicker.
Oof, yeah.
It's like trying to run a race where the finish line keeps moving.
And you never actually, yeah.
And you feel worse and worse.
Yeah.
The harder you try.
Okay, that is a terrifyingly accurate analogy. And this is where I think we have to talk about social media. It's like comparison on steroids.
Oh, absolutely. Social media is like the all-you-can-eat buffet of comparison. Think about it. You're scrolling through and everyone's posting their best moments, vacations, promotions. Even their coffee looks like art,
Right. Like, who are these people?
But what you don't see, the struggles, the self-doubt, all the messy human stuff behind the scenes.
It's the highlight reel, not the blooper reel, right? And we're all guilty of it.
Oh, for sure.
But even knowing that, it's so easy to fall into that trap of thinking everyone else has it so much more figured out.
And that's exactly why it's so important to remember. Social media is just that, a highlight reel. It's like comparing your life to a movie trailer.
Ooh, I like that.
It's entertaining, but not exactly real life.
So how do we break free from this cycle? What are some signs that scream, hey, you're stuck, time to get out?
One big one is feeling inadequate even when you've done something awesome.
Oh, tell me more about that.
Like, you get that promotion you've been working towards, but instead of celebrating, you're comparing yourself to someone who got a bigger promotion.
Yeah.
Or you finally book that dream vacation, the one you've saved up for, and then someone's luxury getaway pops up on your feed.
And it's like suddenly yours doesn't seem as exciting.
Exactly. Or how about this? You finally organize your bookshelf, and for a minute you're like, yes, I am an adult. Then bam, you see someone's perfectly curated library on Instagram.
And you're back to square one.
And the comparison trap snaps shut.
It never ends.
It's a process. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be this way. There are ways to escape the trap, find your joy again, and start living a more authentic life.
Okay, so there's hope.
Oh, tons of hope.
Okay, good.
We're going to dive into all that right after this quick break.
Hold on tight, everyone, because we're about to hand you the keys to break free from comparison and start living a life that actually lights you up. Don't go anywhere.
All right, we're back. And I don't know about you, but I'm already feeling a little lighter knowing that this whole comparison thing is like a human thing,
Right.
not just me.
It's huge to recognize it.
Okay, so we've seen the problem comparison can really mess things up, especially now with social media and everything being so like perfect online. But how do we actually break free? How do we start feeling good about our own path?
It might sound too simple, but just understanding the trap is powerful.
Really?
Yeah, when you can see those comparison thoughts popping up, oh, there's that voice again telling me I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
It loses its grip on you a little. So self-awareness is like shining a light on those sneaky thoughts.
Yeah.
Instead of letting them run the show, we can be like, nope, I see you, but I'm not buying it. I love it.
Yeah.
What else? Our sources talk a lot about self-compassion.
So important. Think of self-compassion as like the antidote to comparison. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness you'd give a good friend.
Okay.
Instead of beating yourself up for every little thing, you acknowledge that, hey, everyone makes mistakes. Everyone struggles. You're worthy of love and acceptance just as you are.
That makes so much sense. It's like we'd never tell a friend, ugh, your vacation photos are so boring. Mine are way better. Why are we so hard on ourselves? Okay, self-awareness, check. Self-compassion, check. What about this whole social media thing? Any tips for surviving that?
Here's the thing. You don't have to delete everything and live in a cave, but setting boundaries is key. Be intentional with your time and energy. Maybe that's specific times for scrolling or using those app timers or even just unfollowing accounts that make you feel worse about yourself.
It's so easy to get sucked into that scroll and suddenly an hour's gone.
Exactly. It's about taking back your time and your attention.
Yeah.
Those are valuable, variable things.
They are. They are. What about focusing on, our own growth? I gotta think that helps quiet that comparison voice.
100%. When you shift from what they're doing to what matters to you,
Yeah.
amazing things happen. You set goals based on your values, your dreams, not on someone else's definition of success.
So forget keeping up with the Joneses. It's about creating a life you're excited about.
Exactly.
But here's a thought, and tell me what you think. Remember how we were saying comparison is this natural human thing? What if, instead of fighting it, we could use it?
Ooh, I like where you're going with this.
Right.
Instead of letting comparison become envy and self-doubt, we choose to see it as inspiration. It's all about the mindset.
Yeah.
Let's say you see someone killing it in their career,
Mhm.
right? Instead of feeling threatened, ask yourself, what skills do they have? What did they do to get there?
Can I learn from that?
Exactly.
Instead of, "Ugh, they're so far ahead," it's like, okay, what can I take from their journey? That's a game changer.
It is, and this is where it gets even better. Remember how we were talking about connection being the antidote?
Yes.
Surrounding yourself with people who lift, or even when you forget,
The right people.
it makes all the difference.
Find your people.
Find your tribe, the ones who get you, who support your dreams.
Want to see you succeed.
Yes. And who remind you you're not alone in all of this.
Yes. Be those people for others, too.
Exactly. Celebrate their wins, be there during the tough times, remind each other we're in this together.
It's about community over competition.
100%.
I'm loving this shift from comparison as the enemy
Mm-hmm.
to comparison as this tool for growth, for connection. It's like we're taking back our power.
Exactly. And you know what the sources you shared mentioned, if you're really struggling with this, it's okay to seek professional help.
Yeah.
If it's really holding you back, a therapist can help you work through those feelings, those thought patterns.
Develop healthier coping mechanisms. Yeah.
Exactly. There's no shame in asking for help.
It takes strength to ask for help.
Absolutely. It's a sign of self-awareness.
So to sum up this whole escaping the trap section, we've got self-awareness, self-compassion, setting those healthy boundaries, focusing on our own growth, finding our tribe, and not being afraid to ask for help.
It's a great toolkit.
It's a solid toolkit, right?
It really is. And the more you use those tools, the easier it gets.
Yeah.
You start to see that someone else's success doesn't take away from your own.
There's enough to go around.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've tapped into the problem, we've got our solutions, but I think we need to really paint a picture of what's on the other side of that trap. What does a comparison-free life actually look and feel like? What do we gain?
Imagine waking up in the morning and instead of grabbing your phone to see everyone else's highlight reel,
Yeah.
you take a moment to appreciate your own journey.
Ooh, I like that.
You feel grateful for your progress, for for the challenges you've overcome, for your unique strengths and talents.
Because we all have them.
Exactly. There's this quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are enough, just as you are.
It sounds so freeing.
It
Like
is.
you're not constantly trying to measure up to some external arbitrary standard.
And you're not.
You get to define success for yourself.
And when you're not comparing yourself, you're free to go after your passions with so much more joy.
Yeah.
You're more present, more appreciative of the little things, more resilient.
Because life will happen.
Oh, it will.
There will be curveballs.
Exactly. But when you're grounded in your own worth, your own values, you can handle it.
You're not looking for validation from the outside world because you found it within.
Exactly.
It's interesting, when we're so busy comparing, we miss out on the beauty of our own journeys.
It's so true. It's like we're so busy looking at the map, we forget to look up and enjoy the scenery.
I love that. Put down the map, take a breath, appreciate how far we've come and where we're headed. But it's one thing to talk about this, it's another to actually do it. So as we go to the final part of our deep dive, let's get practical. What are some small, actionable steps we can take today to break free and start living more authentically, more joyfully? Stay tuned, because we're about to hand you the keys to freedom right after this quick message. All right, we're back and ready to say goodbye to those comparison gremlins. We've talked about why the comparison trap gets us and what happens when we break free. But now, let's get down to business.
Let's do it.
How do we actually escape? What can we start doing, like today?
You know, one of the most powerful shifts you can make is moving from needing outside validation to appreciating yourself from within.
Okay, I like that. But what does that actually look like in practice?
It can be so simple. Take a few minutes each day to just acknowledge your own strengths, your wins. It could be as small as, hey, I rocked that presentation, or I'm proud of myself for sticking to my workout.
Yeah.
It might feel weird at first.
Especially if you're used to, beating yourself up.
Totally. But the more you do it, the easier it gets.
So we're training our brains to focus on the positive. Like our own highlight reel, but without the pressure.
Exactly.
I'm into it. Okay, what else goes in this escaping comparison toolkit we're building?
We gotta talk about social media.
The doom scroll.
Right. Instead of scrolling without thinking, be picky about who you're following, what you're letting into your head.
Okay.
Think of your social media feed like a garden. You get to choose what you plant, what you weed out.
Ooh, I like that.
So unfollow, mute, whatever you gotta do, with accounts that make you feel bad.
If following someone makes you feel like you need to buy a whole new wardrobe and go on a juice cleanse,
Yes.
unfollow.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. Your mental health will thank you.
100%. And speaking of mental health, another powerful tool, gratitude.
Ooh, I love a good gratitude practice.
Yeah. Right. Studies actually show that focusing on what we're grateful for can totally shift how we feel. It takes us from, I don't have this, to, I'm so lucky to have this.
It's about perspective.
Exactly.
So even if my life's not perfect, and let's be real, no one's is, there's always something good.
Always.
A roof over my head, a good cup of coffee, the fact that I woke up this morning, right?
Yes. Those things matter.
They do. They really do.
And another tip, when you have those negative thoughts, and you will, we all do,
Oh, yeah.
challenge them. Like next time you catch yourself thinking, I'm not good enough, or I'll never be as successful as,
Oh, that voice.
right? Stopping at, is that really true? What proof do I have?
Be a detective of your own thoughts.
Yes. Because usually those thoughts, they're coming from fear, not facts.
It's like our brains are trying to protect us, but sometimes they go a little overboard.
A little bit. So to recap, we're focusing on our wins, being mindful about social media, practicing gratitude, and challenging those negative thought gremlins.
Powerful stuff. So what happens when we actually do this? What does life on the other side of the comparison trap look like? Paint us a picture.
I love this part. Okay, imagine this. You're no longer living by someone else's definition of success. You're free to define what matters to you, celebrate your own milestones.
You get to choose your own adventure.
Exactly. Your relationships become deeper because you're not competing, you're connecting.
You're present.
And most importantly, you develop this unshakable self-worth.
That comes from within.
Because you know you are enough just as you are.
That's the dream right there.
It is.
It's not about being immune to comparison. It's about changing how we relate to it.
You got it. Those thoughts might always pop up, but we get to choose if they control us.
We have the power.
We do. We acknowledge them, challenge them, and then we gently bring our focus back to our own path.
So good. As we wrap up our deep dive today, what's the most important thing you want our listeners to take away?
This is going to sound so cheesy.
Bring on the cheese.
You are worthy just as you are. Don't let the noise of the world drown out your own unique song.
So well said. That's a keeper. And remember, you are not alone in this. Lean on your people, talk to a therapist if you need to, and above all, be kind to yourself. Until next time, keep shining. Thanks for tuning in to the Small Business Accelerator podcast.
We really hope today's strategies help you grow your business without breaking the bank.
Don't forget to check the show notes for links to resources we've handpicked for small business success.
If you found value in today's episode, it would make our day if you subscribed to the podcast and left us a review.
You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And stay tuned for our next episode. Next time, we'll reveal yet another game-changing strategy that's revolutionizing how small businesses on a shoestring budget take on giant corporations and accelerate their success.
Until then, keep accelerating your success.
This is Sarah Wilson.
And Roger Bryant, signing off.